This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hello. Sorry. Thanks for letting me know. Can you hear me now? Okay. Um. Okay. I start again. Okay. Understand that some of us may not be a WatchGuard customer yet or have not been using WatchGuard. So I'm going to start some background about WatchGuard, who we are, what are we doing, before I go into the secure remote workforce that we are seeing it now, where due to the pandemic, many of us are actually working away from office. Understand that in Singapore, we are probably going into the phase 3, but we need to get prepared. People are now also working from home. Things may become a norm. Working from home, for example, a company may be able to save costs on the office rental, for example. So things may be changing from the norm that we are doing. So for WatchGuard, we understand that many of our customers are actually from the SMB, from the so-called the mid-sized enterprise. Many of them may not have the IT security people, especially now IT security people are in demand. Not it's quite expensive to actually hire, and they move around very fast as well. So for WatchGuard, we want to make sure that we provide the security and also making it easy to manage and configure, because the weakest link is not the product that you buy. As I always tell my customers, is the weakest link is actually administrator. How well the administrators are trained to actually manage the products. Like Singapore a few years ago, there was a Ferrari crash on middle so-called Victoria Street, for example. It's a very nice car, superior car, millions of dollars, but it still crashed. The reason why is because the driver are not skillful enough, not trained to drive properly. So even if you spend $1 million on the security solutions, but the administrators are not well trained, how to configure the product is actually wasting your money. So for WatchGuard, we make it simple to use, easy to manage. So our philosophy is to provide intelligent protections for the security the customer required, and make it simple, and also provide visibility. Understand that many of the customers are actually charging for reporting, monitoring, visibility. For WatchGuard, we understand that this is important because security is not configure and forget. It's a life cycle. You require around the clock, all rounds configurations, monitoring, fine tuning your security solutions as threats change, for example. So we are providing visibility at zero cost as long as you have the valid support subscription. So this is our mission to deliver MSP focused security platform that simplify every aspect of the security delivery, because we see also, as I mentioned earlier, many of our customers may not have the security people. So we are also looking into our solutions that are able easily to be offered by a managed service provider to provide security management to our customer as well. So we want to be the security platform for the mid-market organization. The purpose is to provide enterprise-grade security solution. Normally, enterprise-grade security solutions are expensive to purchase, very difficult to configure and manage. So for what WatchGuard is doing is that we partner with some of the security solutions that we have. We partner with the enterprise vendor, and we get these database and engines and put into our solutions to provide interface that is easy to manage. yet effective and providing the security of the enterprise level. So these are the solutions that we are offering: network security, multi-factor authentication, secure Wi-Fi, as well as endpoint security. Every different solutions, we have something that is unique, that is niche compared to our competitor. Things like in network security, the tracing, the correlation part, that is something unique. We have correlations between our endpoint as well as our gateway, because most of the time we see that management of these two solutions doesn't put together. So we have this thing called the track correlations and response system, whereby we get data information from the endpoint as well as from the gateway, and correlates them together, and having a bigger picture of what's happening to the threads to the network, for example. Because most of the time, endpoint, you see what are the processors, everything you can see clearly. But then you do not want to slow down the endpoint, because users are also using applications over there. You have limited capabilities to actually see more, because you don't want to slow down the endpoint. But then the gateway, you have all the resources, but then you may not see a lot of information because the traffic may be encrypted, for example. So with these two informations that I put together, we are able to see a better picture from there. Unlike most of the solutions, when they provide endpoint as well as gateway, they normally do some kind of NAC. If the endpoint is not compliant, they block the traffic. But they don't do this kind of correlation. So WatchGuard is providing something that is unique. Multi-factor authentication, we have something that is unique as well. We have this thing called the hardware mobile DNA, device DNA, to put into our generation of the key as well. So every tokens that we put it into the mobile phone is unique, because every mobile phone hardware is unique. So you can't export, so-called move the token to another mobile phone and thinking that the authenticator will still work. So for example, let's say I have a mobile multi-factor authentication token on my mobile phone, and I do a backup of my mobile phone. Someone steal my so-called mobile phone backup and restore it on another mobile phone. The multi-factor authentication will not work, because the hardware DNA is different. Okay, so this provides you a unique token that cannot be duplicated. And for secure Wi-Fi, something that is unique about us is that many of our competitors are all talking about connectivity Wi-Fi, which like Wi-Fi 6. People are talking about that. They advanced the latest Wi-Fi AP, for example, but nobody is talking about security. Okay, for WatchGuard, we have patent with security. Something that is unique about us is also that our wireless security can also secure not only WatchGuard AP, but also third-party access point as well. So for environment, let's say you have other third-party AP, or for example, you have different brands of AP in your environment. And normally, all vendors will only secure their own brands. So for WatchGuard, we are able to support secure other third-party AP as well. So this is unique, whereby if you have multiple brands of AP and you want to secure your Wi-Fi environment, WatchGuard is the only one that can do it, okay, to secure other third-party Wi-Fi security. And then we also have the endpoint, which is also having some kind of unique features, is that most of the endpoint EDR solutions, if they do not know about specific applications, they will let the application go through first and take their times to actually identify the applications before blocking it. So this gives a window for the threats to come in. So for us, if we do not know about the applications, for example, don't know about the characteristic of the applications, we'll block it at first, so to prevent the spread of the malware. And we do have a backend engines to so-called system to actually analyze whether this application is malicious before we allow the applications to actually pass through. Okay, we have just recently acquired Panda Security, Spain endpoint security solutions, have been in the market for more than 20 years. Okay, so our visions, our planning is to have all our security solutions managed centrally by our WatchGuard Cloud, and allowing all our solutions to be available to our partners, to do managed service providers, to have both total control of all our solutions in a single environment. So the difference between WatchGuard difference is that first, simplicity, because as I mentioned, administrator is the weakest link. So we provide simple management. Innovations, we always look into new technology, new ways of doing security. Either we come up with our own solutions to acquire another company, or we OEM with other vendors to provide the solutions. So our solutions that we work on, like our network security, is able to put in new security solutions as required. And also performance. For WatchGuard, we focus on providing performance to our customers. Even the biggest appliance that we have are now still 1U as compared to other competitor, which is already 2U or 3U, for example. And we also focus on visibility to provide, because a lot of times partner, so-called administrators are not able to identify threats because they do not know about the so-called the network baseline of their company. So with this visibility, you will be able to see informations of your network, so you know that what is the norm compared to abnormal behavior or activities in your network. So visibility is important to convert logs that you collected into something that you can see in graphical representation, in numbers, for example. Okay. So for support, I understand that a lot of challenge in different companies. Let's say you're getting support, you're working with different vendor support. Support is very important. Many of times, a lot of people complaining about support, but WatchGuard have been providing very good support to our customers and getting a lot of good feedbacks. So these are some of the industry recognition awards that we have, customers that we have, mostly in the hospitality, retail, schools, manufacturing, for example. And this is the latest NSS report. NSS actually provide evaluations of different products and then give reports about their testing. And this is the latest, and there should not be any more reports anymore. It's because I last heard due to this pandemic, COVID-19, NSS has closed down, but this is actually a good third-party evaluations as compared to Gartner, because Gartner, people always look at Gartner. I understand that you need to have some kind of justification to a management that, okay, based on certain report, you choose these certain solutions because it's based on Gartner. But Gartner is mostly based on customer feedback, and then they do the so-called the positioning, the grading. But this NSS is based on the product capability features. So they look into these things, the value map that you can see over here. The y-axis is actually the security effectiveness. So if you are at the highest position, you are better security, and the x-axis is actually the value. Because many times products have certain security capability, they turn off some of the security features by default because it take out a lot of performance and slow down the performance. So what this NSS do is that when vendors submit their so-called appliance for testing, they will measure the security effectiveness as well as the performance. So you give you an idea, if you turn on certain security, what kind of performance you will get. So they measure based on that. So WatchGuard, as you can see over here, and Palo Alto are the two only vendors recommended 3 years in a row by NSS for passing 100% of evasive attacks. Okay. So WatchGuard is in a very good position in terms of cost and security effectiveness. Okay, so by the number you can see that we have many deployment worldwide as well. Many times when you look at Frost & Sullivan, a lot of third-party report worldwide deployment based on percentage of the coverage worldwide, how much they're selling, but most of the time they are based on revenue, okay, not by units. So as you know, WatchGuard, we are priced at a certain level, and we are not priced like the Cisco, Checkpoint, Palo Alto kind of pricing. So sometimes you look at the reports that are published by those third party, they use revenue, they use in US dollar how much worldwide per year, for example, but it doesn't represent how many units of chip. So it doesn't give you an idea who do the most in the market. Actually, we can consider one of the most, because most of the mass market worldwide are actually SMBs, mid-sized enterprise, right? This is where our market are. Okay. So this will give you an example background about WatchGuard. We started in 1996. We have been in the market for more than 20 years. HQs in Seattle, USA. We focus on our partners like Frontier Force to deliver services to our customers, and we operate worldwide around the world. So this is our track record milestone. We are the first one to come out security appliance and also put in UTM into the appliance. Okay, we are the first one to have UTM into a single appliance to secure the network environment. And as times go by, we add in other different solutions and things like MFA, endpoint, Wi-Fi, for example. So these are our timeline. So we look into network security. We look at a layer security approach to defense against today's threats, because no single security solutions can actually block today's advanced threats. You require multi layers to actually block it. I always like to use airport as an example, because in the airport also they use layer security. You go in, you go through the entrance, you check your tickets, and after you get your tickets, you go in, they'll check your tickets and your passport, and then custom clearance. Probably go to gate, they scan your bags, for example, before you board the plane, they check whether you are boarding the correct flight, for example. It's also going through layer security to checks whether you pass the security check, for example. So no single point, everybody do their jobs to detect any threats, for example. So it's going through a layer as well. So for in the past, we see solutions are looking into prevention, detections. So as we also see that administrators are usually overloaded, not enough resources. Many of them, I feel that most of the administrators are actually more doing reactive instead of preventive, because in IT departments, it's always expenditure, for example. You are not the revenue, you are not bringing in revenue to the company unless you are the one that provide IT security or other kind of security solution services. Then probably maybe related to something that you can bring in business to the company. But because it's a spending department, so most of the time you have limited resources, but you need to do so many things, for example. So we know that administrators are not free to do their work. Most of them are very responsive, reactive to threats, activities, and then they need to do some kind of reaction. So for us, we also understand that. So we have this thing called the threat detection and response. We allow you to configure some policy for the endpoint where you detect something not right, malicious. You can set certain automatic reactions so that the system will automatically respond to what you have configured in case of any threats that are coming up. So these are some of the security solutions that we offer. Fundamentals, one are the UTM, things that are protections against known attacks that we have. We have the signatures, we have the database to defend against these known threats. But how about those unknown ones? Those that require advanced protections. These are under the advanced security services that are not part of the UTM. Things like APT blocker, sandboxing, endpoint and gateway correlations, for example. Also intelligent antivirus. This is using so-called AI kind of technology to look into the components of files to actually identify is there any malicious codings within the files, for example. Okay, so these are advanced protections that we can offer, to prevent any threats from coming into the network. DNS Watch is something that is unique. Not every vendors are providing, especially you see that we are mentioning that every threats or every attack starts from a phish. So especially nowadays, we see that a lot of phishing attacks where employees are now working from home. They are no more protected behind the so-called the network security that they have in the office. They are now all outside, and we see that the increase in phishing attacks as well. So this DNS Watch is to protect again users from clicking a link that is a phishing link, for example, and preventing them from accessing to those suspicious malicious links. So we provide different kind of central management. Later, I will show you something that is still on beta testing that will be available to our customers around February next year. Our cloud-based central management called the WatchGuard Cloud, and I will show you the central management of that part. So we also visibility to provide our customers so-called converting logs into something that they can see by either graphical representations or numbers. This policy audit map that you see over here is part of the visibility. You can actually see which rules. So you can see from here the blue column on both ends is the incoming interface and outgoing interface, and then the orange column is your policy, and the green and red is actually accept, allow connection or deny connection. So this gives you converting your traffics to match your rule base and giving the area that you can see, like for example, here you see most of the traffic is actually DNS traffic. And you know that firewall rules are checking from first rule until the last rule in sequential. So if you see that DNS is in this majority compared to all your other policy, about 50% of your traffic are DNS, then you might want to move your DNS rule base to a higher position so that it get matched earlier than it matched later, for example. So it can speed out your firewall performance as well. So with this kind of visibility, allow you to understand your network, allow you to understand your policy and how you can fine tune and improve the performance. So for WatchGuard, we are very simple. Just with support only basic security, which is the UTM capability that most other vendors are offering, and something that is more than UTM. We have this total security, providing the overall security solutions to our customers. Okay, so for WatchGuard network security, easy to purchase, easy to deploy, and easy to manage. This is our directions. And we also, under our technology partners, if you go to a public website, we also look into, because firewall, it will not be there just standing alone. So we know that our customers will require some kind of integrations between other products as well in their network. So we do have different integrations, and we also provide the integration guide as well. I understand that now companies are cutting costs. Maybe they wanted to reduce the services that they offer to some reseller, for example, and you have to do it yourself, for example. And so we provide some kind of guide as well, allowing you to actually look into how to do the configuration between WatchGuard and some other third-party solutions that you may require, step by step, telling you how to configure them to work together. And also recently we introduced the new higher end model, the M5800s to replace the M5600. Provide 75% faster than the older appliance. As you can see, there's only 1U. Even our bigger size appliance is only 1U. Okay, so simple setup. The more that the product is simple, lesser problem in terms of the hardware. Because the more things you put in, the more things that you will feel, and you require the kind of replacement. For the 800s, 66% faster than the M4600. So this will be the modules. So for the M4800s, it comes with 8 ports copper. 5800s, it comes with 8 port copper and 4x10G fiber copper as well. 10G fiber interface as well. Okay. So let's look into a secure Wi-Fi. Our Wi-Fi access point can be either cloud managed or can be managed by our firewall appliance. So if you have a WatchGuard appliance, you can use it to also as a Wi-Fi access point controller to manage the access point, or you can use the cloud-based manage as well. So we have different solutions. If you're using a cloud-based solutions, it's actually a 4 product in one. So you have patent wireless security as mentioned, detection of attacks in your wireless environments, things like man-in-the-middle attacks, evil twins, for example, and also prevent. You can also detect and classify your users between authorized user in your network, neighbor users, root users that trying to access into your network. We can do this kind of classification. We have a patent technology that we are able to identify whether your access point is managed by you in your network, whether the other access point that share the same airspace, radio space with your access point are neighboring access point that you should not go and touch and don't go into legal problem if you go and block users from accessing to the neighbor access point, for example. So we are able to classify that, and we can also classify what are the root access point that is plugged into your network, and you can block users from connecting to that root access point that is not authorized by your company. Okay, and like sometimes you have security capabilities that you enforce on your Wi-Fi user, and user, let's say for example, you say your company do not allow Facebook, and the user want to go to Facebook, and then you find that there's a neighbor guest network, no need any security, so he go and connect to that guest Wi-Fi of the neighbor and go into internet and can access to Facebook, for example, bypassing your security. So with our wireless security features, we can block authorized user in your company to connect to a neighbor access point. So preventing any threats that is not enforced on the neighbor access point and go into and bring it into a network, because the users after connected to the neighbor guest Wi-Fi may come back to your network, and if let's say interacted with your malware, the malware can come into a network later. So if you are in the retail, we also provide powerful engagement tools that allow you to actually connect with the users all out of the box. Okay, so you can have interactive prodding, for example, campaigns, get users to log into their social media to access to your Wi-Fi, for example, and then you can collect some common information about your users from their social media. So you can later do reports to see what are the age group of the user, what are their race, for example, to actually see who are your customer are, and from there plan on your so-called your products packaging that you want to give to your user. And we also have business driven analytics, like you can keep tracks of the if you have multiple access point in your network, that you can actually keep track of locations. You can actually see how users are moving in your environment. Let's say in a supermarket, you can see also where the users are always be around, so that you will be able to actually charge people who, let's say, rent a rack space on your supermarket. You can tell them that this is a place where most people will pass by. People will see their product. You can charge for a higher rental, for example. So these are things that you can actually see. How long users are coming into your retail, how long they stay, how many are repeated users, all by keeping track from their mobile phone. Okay, because most people turn on their Wi-Fi in the mobile phone, right? They don't turn off. So the mobile phone Wi-Fi is always checking for any wireless SSID that they know. And from there, we are able to actually track all these user activities. Okay, and this is the cloud-based management. So we can you don't need to worry about controller sizing. It can manage hundreds, thousands of access points. You don't need to worry about controller sizing. So we have different packaging. We have the total secure Wi-Fi, secure Wi-Fi, and the basic Wi-Fi. If basic Wi-Fi is the one that is managed by our Firebox. Okay. Multi-factor authentications is as we know that nowadays a lot of attacks, a lot of news about stolen password. Hackers are actually selling username and password in the dark web, for example. Okay, so multi-factor authentication become important key components, especially now people are now working from home. If you are not authenticating through a secure so-called media, for example, your username password may be visible to users, and especially people are now working outside offices. They may not be in the office, they may be in the network cafe that connected to untrusted Wi-Fi, which do not have any security in place, no WPA2, for example, kind of encryptions. People may be able to actually sniff and see what is your username and password. Okay. So for WatchGuard multi-factor authentication, we provide password, OTP. We provide push notification as well, because like people like me already, sometimes you look at the number, you need to key in fast enough. It may be slower. Okay. So with this push notification, allow you to actually improve the user experience by looking the message, and then you approve or deny, for example. And then nowadays the smartphone provide a lot of identification like fingerprint scanning, face recognition. So you can put this into also as a factors to check the user. Okay, like multi-factor authentication, normally two-factor is something I know, something I own. Something I know is a username password, something I own is the token. So with multi-factor authentication, I can add in something who you are, which is the fingerprint and the face recognition, for example. And just now I talked about the mobile phone DNA. It's also unique to the hardware of the phone. Okay, so we support even QR code in case you don't have internet connections. Like let's say I can secure the login to my laptops, for example, with just username and password. I can add another security using OTP. But if I'm not connected to any internet connection, for example, on the plane doing my work, there is no internet connections, I can use QR code to log in and get into my laptop to access the laptop, for example. Okay, so you just very easy. You just require identities servers, which is like Radius, LDAP, Active Directories, for example, and authentications through the mobile token. Okay, you can see over here on the right side, this is actually a push notification, deny or access, allow, and it'll tell you the informations of the access. So you can also configure to protect the login on a MacBook or Windows environment. And we also have many other cloud services that support SAML 2.0. You can configure to use this MFA. Okay. So you can put multiple token, even third-party token, like here you can see Facebook token can be put into our apps as well. It's a cloud-based management. There is also integration guide if you want to look into how to integrate different solutions together with multi-factor authentication. There's step-by-step integrations over here, like Office 365, for example, even third-party so-called remote access VPN, mobile VPN kind of security solutions to enhance the VPN. Okay, so we also look into endpoint. This is the DNS Watch Go, which just I mentioned, to defend against phishing attacks. As you see, more people are now working from home, so you require some kind of security in place to actually secure the user. Okay, so we provide security even for users out on the go outside the network. And this is a cloud-based management, so you do not require to install any server and no need to worry about server and user sizing, because it's a cloud-based management. You don't need to care about the management, and no need to care. As a cloud-based management is also easier. You don't need to worry about downtimes to actually so-called do your own server upgrades to make sure that you have all the latest capability or security, because once whenever there is required or new features, you automatically upgrade the management. Okay, so it also provide better security training, because as we know that the weakest link is always the user. When they see something that interests them, especially people are now working from home, they don't have interaction with colleagues as they do in the office. When they see something interesting, they never think much, they will just click on the link. And this may be a phishing link, for example. Okay, so this provide a kind of a security, as well as if let's say users click on a website that is phishing, you can configure a phishing training links to get the user educated. And if you see something that is in doubt that is blocked by WatchGuard, you can actually engage the security experts in WatchGuard to actually look into those domains and let you know what are the threats when user access to that domain. For endpoint, we have the Active Defense 360, which is the EDR solutions. So most people in the markets are now, they are mostly using the just the AV endpoint protections kind of solutions, but they are not looking into EDR kind of solutions, which is endpoint detection and response. So you're able to detect again the malicious activities and respond to it. Okay, so these are a level higher in the endpoint security protections. So I mentioned that something unique about us is that we block any unknown application first before we allow them to pass through. So we are a zero trust model, and we also have 100% classification of all running processes. So we have a database of applications that we can trust, and which mostly cover about 80% of the applications. So about another 10+ percentage you go through our internal so-called engine with our AI database that actually look into the unknown applications to identify whether this application is safe to run or unsafe to run. So for some advanced applications which we are not able to classify, we require our so-called expert at the back end to actually analyze and to classify the applications. Okay, so we are 100% classifications of all running processes. Normally, this that require our experts will be a small percentage, usually about less than 1%, to do the manual classification. Because with our many years of experience, more than 20 years in the market. Okay, and we also have managed threat huntings and investigation services. So with all the endpoints that you have installed, they will talk to each. They will actually regularly send out informations to our so-called the central management. We're allowing us to actually correlate and see is there any malicious activities that may be happening. So once any of the endpoint having something abnormal, we'll be able to detect it when comparing with other machines that we have. Okay, so if any machines that is suspicious, we can do machine isolation to block them from threats in your environment and isolate the user. Okay, so this picture show you the difference between the traditional AV and the EDR kind of components. Okay, so for EDR, it protects again unknown threats, malware, APTs, for example, especially some kind of filers, because normally traditional AV only check on files, check on memory, processors that are running, but there are nowadays a lot of people are talking about the virus attacks, malware that do not have files or executable. This can be detected based on behavior analysis, for example, and we are able to actually detect it using our EDR technology. With our big data as well as machine learning, we are able to identify these malicious activities. So we provide prevention, detection, and remediations, and we also give you detailed forensic information on real times about these activities. So we can provide preventions incident before they happen. So normally the standard AV engines are provided during the pre-executions. We have the database like signatures, URL filtering to minimize the risk, for example, and classification application, what applications are safe to run, what applications are considered malware and safe to run, for example. Then during the execution part, when the malware are running activated, we are able to actually analyze based on behavior analysis, any exploits within the memory, for example, as well as threat hunting and investigation. And after blocking it, we have also post executions and investigation whether is there any further of the threats within the network, for example. Okay, we do have all other information as well that you can connect to, like our daily security blight, the POP 443 podcast in our public website, for example, Simplicity, for example, talk about security as well as the social media connections to get connected to our customers. Okay, this is some background about WatchGuard. So I will go into the main things that we wanted to discuss today about the remote access workforce, how to secure them. So we see that more and more people are now moving, working from home, for example, and you can see some of the incidents happening worldwide. These are example of our employees working from home. Okay, and we see that these are actually numbers from Singapore news recently. Ransomware intensified this year. Based on Singapore CSA January to October, 61 ransomware reported in Singapore compared to 35 last year. So it's just 10 months, they already around double of what we see last year. Phishing threats, banking related phishing scam, 20 times more just in H1 only in Singapore. Okay, so increasing leveraging on WhatsApp and social media. Okay, and remote workforce, more and more people are now working outside the corporate firewall, working from home, for example, and so a lot of scam, phishing attacks targeting at home workers, and so we see that people are now working from home. They either use VPN to connect, or they use a remote desktop access to their office. Like for example, not everybody have laptops, even though nowadays laptops price are dropping, but some of the workers are still having their PCs, not having the laptops, for example. So some organization, what they do is that they allow users to use their home PC, for example, to do a remote desktop back into the desktop that they have in their office, for example, and connect to the internal resources. This is more like a temporary measure, but as things change, I see a lot of people are actually moving into the cloud because they, when people are all working from home, for example, the internet bandwidth need to increase, and they worry about loading, scaling of their service. So many people are actually moving their on-prem server services into a cloud-based services as well. Excuse me. So we see more and more people are using the cloud-based services as well. But cloud-based services, we also recently see a lot of ServiceNow at Amazon, Azure, for example, and I think last week also Google went down as well. So even we see probably they also have some kind of traffic loading where people are moving into the cloud as well. So it doesn't mean that it's a safe place, and we need to prepare for that as well. So in order to build a business continuity, when we plan about people working from home, we need to determine the risk when people are working from home, because they are previously secure in a secure environment. Now they are outside the environment. So VPN and also avoid split tunnel, and more security awareness training to staff, making sure that they know what are the best practices, what they need to do. And because their laptops are at home, kids maybe say, I want to use a laptop. and they may install their games, or they open the browser, type in the game site. But some of these free games may be malicious, for example, and using a corporate PC or laptops to access. Okay, so and also a challenge for help desk to actually do support to their workforce. Just now I mentioned about the endpoint as well. We do have this central management capabilities features that also can connect to the so-called remote workforce desktop. For example, now people are all scattered, so they can actually provide remote access, remote help to the desktop as well. Okay, from the endpoint security solution. So for WatchGuard, we have this bundle called the Passport. That bundle our MFA, our DNS, WatchGo, our endpoint together, AD360 as a single bundle for our remote workforce user. Excuse me. So MFA, just now I'm talking about it, so I try to speed up. As you can see here on the screen, this is actually a push notification. This tell you where the time and where the connection come from. So for example, many of you are now using mobile VPN, remote access VPN to connect to the so-called office, for example. You use username and password. But for example, now you have this MFA. And if you are not logging into your mobile VPN, then suddenly on your mobile phone, you get this alert. Someone trying to log in, and do you allow or deny? So you know that someone already know your username and password. It's time for you to change your username, so-called your password, for example. Because when you see this, that means the username and password pass the authentication. And then they ask for this extra layer of protections for the OTP. Okay, so this also provides some kind of an announcement to you that someone know your username and password, which is also a good indication. Okay, so the MFA allow you to access to important, essential applications while providing protections on the username and password. Okay, other than applications access, VPN access using MFA, we can also secure the laptop, for example. Okay, like just now I mentioned, the kids want to use your laptop, you key in your username and password. They're very smart nowadays. They can remember and they can use without telling you about it. So if you have another layer of authentication with the multi-factor authentication before you log in, to provide an OTP, that will also prevent unauthorized access to the endpoint. Okay. DNS WatchGo protects against phishing, because we see a lot of users are happy clicker. The other one is spear phishing, targeting at you to get you do something, or CEO flaw, someone impersonate themselves as C-level, asking you to take actions, asking you to click the link, for example. Nowadays, maybe because everybody working from home, the management may say, "Oh, send you an email." Management wanted to understand your needs. For example, please click on this link for a survey, and then users will say, "Oh, it's from my CEO, from my C-level. I need to take response. If not, my job may be penalized." I click on the link, but it may be a phishing mail. Okay, so these are CEO flaw, for example. So we need to educate our user about these attacks. And DNS WatchGo is one that can protect user when they are out of the network, to provide them secure access to the link, for example. So if you are having our WatchGuard DNS WatchGo DNS Watch protections under the Total Security Suite, you can configure the same policy for the user as well. But if you are not a WatchGuard existing user, you can use a DNS WatchGo as well. This require an agent to be installed at endpoint, or if you are having users in your network but you are not using a WatchGuard firewall, for example, let's say third-party firewall, you can also configure this DNS WatchGo to provide another layer of security against phishing attacks, even though you are not using a WatchGuard solution, and you do not require to install any agents for the users behind your third-party firewall. So when you configure the configuration in the cloud, you just need to specify what is your public address so that it will provide the protections. Okay, so some key features about DNS Watch Go is that it's a cloud-based management. So it allows you to actually look into information about users when they are outside the network as well. And so either by protections of the network or by installing agents on the user laptop, for example, to provide the security. Okay, so this is if you are installing the users on the laptop, for example, and you require to download the agents on the portable device and provide policies, and you will have the DNS Watch Go protections on the go. So what it do is that you can see over here, the DNS Watch Go client will actually install on and secure the adapter on the adapter side. And whenever there is a query, what it do is that it will check with the our DNS Watch Go to check whether this domain is suspicious or not. And at the same time, another link is going to check on the domain to IP address query. And after that, if let's say the response from our DNS Watch services is clean, then the user will be able to access to that website. If not, they'll be blocked from accessing. Okay. So this is a test link that you can set it out to see whether the DNS Watch protection is in place, the filter.strongarm.io. This is a test link to test whether the DNS Watch is protecting. Okay, so just now I mentioned about the bundle of the passport. This provide protections against credential thief. We have the MFA protection and the DNS Watch Go phishing attacks that steal your login credential can be prevented by MFA, as well as the DNS Watch Go for protecting users from getting into a phishing link. Ransomware will be the endpoint security plus the DNS Watch Go, because ransomware normally come from a suspicious link or of a phishing link and then causes you to download, drive-by download, for example. So the DNS Watch Go not only protecting against domain to IP address query whether the domain is safe, it also provides some kind of URL filtering for the user as well. So preventing users from going to certain URL category that may be unsafe. So it reduces your chances of getting a ransomware. For malware as well, DNS Watch Go as endpoint, and secure access, which is a remote access VPN, mobile VPN, that will require mobile VPN solutions and our firewall. So we look into our WatchGuard solutions. Every of our WatchGuard hardware, we include the number of VPN user, SSL or IPsec. So SSL L2TP share the IP, so-called the limits of the user. These are concurrent user limits on the appliance. Because we are also having other security solutions running in the box, so we need to cap the number of mobile VPN user as well, so that you not interfere with other security solutions that is running. Also, we do have for number of IPsec or IKEv2 user on different appliance. So like for example here, let's say I have a M270 75 user concurrent. So for example, I have 100 users behind the M270, but now I only have 75. You can have, let's say, 50 users SSL, 50 users IKEv2 or IPsec to make out the 100 as well. Okay, so these are two different numbers, concurrent user limits. And then when you look into different remote access VPN, we also look into the authentication server that support. So different security, different mobile VPN solutions have different authentication server support, as you can see over here. So choosing the different solutions also depending on what kind of authentication server you have in your environment. Okay. So we normally recommend IKV2 or SSL. Okay, most users will be using the SSL because it can be passed through most of the connections, where most of the firewall allow port 443, for example, which is I see more and more people are using that. So other than these authentication server, the other thing that you need to consider will be the operating system that's supported. Okay, so you can see over here, IKV2 are available in most operating system built-in. Like iOS, Mac OS already have the built-in IKV2 window as well. Android still requires Strong Swarm, for example, to use the VPN. And so we also compare about the security, cryptographic security. SSL is only provide good security. Normally IPsec and IKV2 provide better security due to also the IPsec also checking for integrity check whether the encryption packet has been tampered with. So they have the checks on the integrity. So it provide another layer of security, and also the thing between IKV2 and IPsec VPN client is that IKV2 using certificates to verify the endpoint, where IPsec VPN using preset key. So that's why IKV2 have the best security compared to other mobile VPN. And then other features that you may require, like window pre-log on. Some people wanted to log on before they log on to the window, and split tunneling, whether you want to allow split tunnel or full tunnel. So if you put full tunnel, that means all user traffic, whether is it going to your internal resources or going to the internet, we have to go through the gateway and go through the security checks by the Firebox, for example, by WatchGuard Firewall. Okay. So whether MFA can be supported, then there are some other integration IPsec VPN client. You can see personal firewall, for example, roaming, branding, for example. Okay, speed. That's another thing that you need to consider. IKV2 and IPsec have the best security as compared to, best performance as compared to SSL VPN. Okay, because SSL is actually running at a higher OSI layer. So in terms of comparing to IPsec and IK, which is running at the lower OSI layer, so they can provide, because they are doing on the network part encryptions, so you can actually see a better performance from there. So if you are doing some kind of video, voice over VPN, for better performance, you are recommended to use the IKV2. Okay. So whenever possible, from WatchGuard, we recommend to use IKV2 because most of the time IKV2 is already available on the Windows, Mac OS, iOS, for example. You do not require to install the client, and it's more secure, faster. Okay. SSL VPN, we require to download the Open SSL VPN, for example, and so these are some of the software that you can download from our WatchGuard download site. And we do have some third-party. In the past, we do have free IPsec software from the Screw company, but then they only support out to Windows 8 and Windows 10. They don't support, so we have removed it from the download site. And if you wanted to run the IPsec client, we have OEM from the NCP. Over here, you can purchase from our reseller Frontier Force as well. We OEM the solution for MCP. So they are charging based on the number of client. And if you are running SSL VPN, you wanted to download the key, for example, for configurations of the SSL VPN, you can actually download by connecting to the Firebox IP address SSL VPN _download. You'll be able to actually access to that. Or another way is that you can go to the configuration of the Firebox to get the configuration. So this is the NCP license. Okay, so they have different products license for Windows as well as MacBook. So this is a one-time purchase for specific versions that you use. So when they change the version, then you require to purchase again. So this is how their licensing and the pricing look like. Okay. So this is the activations of the NCP client. Okay. And if you're using different security solutions, port require for IKV2, you require to open ports for UDP 500s as well as UDP 4500s in order for this IKV2 to pass through other gateways or firewalls. For SSL, you understand that they don't have the better performance as compared to the IKV2, but you can also improve the performance by using UDP. By default, it's using TCP 443. You can actually put it into some common ports that also allow in other gateways like UDP 53, for example, for DNS by using your UDP instead of TCP. So so with UDP, because you don't need to go through the three-way handshake, it also provide a better performance, a little bit of performance enhancement compared to using TCP. Okay. Okay, so I look into any questions. Okay. So before that, I will also go into some demo. Okay, so you can see over here, this is a WatchGuard Cloud. After you log into your customer portal, you can access to the so-called the WatchGuard Cloud. Okay, once you log in, you have the dashboard. We do have this thing called the dark web scanner. So over here, you can actually scan a specific domain. And let's say, for example, I scan watchguard.com. So this will actually give you an idea how your company domain, is there any breaches, for example. So this will give you information about what are the domains, what are the breaches that is actually identified for users using your company emails as their login name, for example, to access to some of these third-party website, for example. Okay, then they give you informations, and you can configure this to actually send to. I saw something. Oh, okay. So you for us, we want to make sure that these informations are not go into unwanted hands of someone. So when you wanted to get the result, you need to specify any of these, because these are authority of the company, like security, webmaster, postmaster, homemaster, hostmaster, for example, of your domain. And then the person will need to authorize. Then this can be your email address. And then one of this person over here need to authorize access. Then the information will release to you. So they give you more information about what we scan in the dark web, having your information. So this is an example that we will see the scan result. So this is a company, and they'll tell you these are informations that are being leaked, and they'll tell you who are the email address of the person, where it's being breached, for example. Okay. But chances are users may be using the same username and password that they use. If you are not educating the user properly, user may using the same username and password of their email account on some of these third-party website. And if it's leaked, the so-called the hackers can actually get into your network environment, for example. Okay, so this is the dark web scanner. I wanted to show you about the configuration of the WatchGuard Cloud that is under beta now. So I have a T40 that I have configured to connect to this WatchGuard Cloud. It's running on Total Security Suite. So it have a 30 days visibility, data retentions in the WatchGuard Cloud for logs. If you have basic security suite, you can keep your data retention for a day. Okay. So this is the depending on what kind of security subscriptions that you have. If you want to have a longer security data retentions, there is a SKU that you can purchase for longer because we are running in the AWS cloud. So these are costs on us that we bundle into the security solutions. I recommend customers to have hybrids of logging server. So what you can do is that you can send logs to the WatchGuard Cloud, and for the first log server, second log server, you can configure it to send to the Dimension. So in this way, you can actually no need to worry about the data retention over here, and then you also have the storage that you have in Dimensions to overcome your audit requirement to keep the logs for a certain period of time. Okay. We are limiting this data retention because we are keeping the logs in the more expensive AWS storage because of the query checking. If we are putting into a normal storage, then the users may require longer times to wait. So we are actually putting all these logs in a more expensive storage in AWS for faster access and query. Okay, so these are so you can remove this if you want to configure. So we have the configure device configuration. You can see that these are the new interface. When we design the WatchGuard Cloud, we look at different things, different feedbacks before we do our WatchGuard Cloud. We are thinking, do we want to have all the features that we have in our WSM moving into WatchGuard Cloud, or do we want to have something different, something new to our customers to let them have a new experience, new interface to manage, so that they have a different choice of where they wanted to do their central management. So in the end, we choose to have a new interface, and also we don't want to slow down our development, whereby if we are going to allow export from the older management into the new management, you will slow down the development as well, because we need to do a lot of more testing and QA. So when we discuss that, we feel that we should go to something that is new, start from scratch. So if customer wanted to go into cloud management, they will require to do a new installation. Okay, because we are changing it to a new experience. So you can see content. We are grouping our security services into different scheme here, like content scanning. We have the gateway antivirus, intelligent AV, and the APT blocker. Whatever you see inside is the same as the WatchGuard management interface that you have. Okay, the file size that you want to scan, for example. So make it simple, easy to use, like network blocking. This will be all the protections. The IPS, you click here. These are what you see in your IPS configuration as well. Full scan, half scan. This is where you put in your block site, okay, as well as a block port. These are exception whitelisting that these are mostly some of the access of the firebox to access for outdates, for example. So these are applied over here. Geolocations, content filtering will be your application control, as well as your URL filtering, web blocker, for example. So these are specified over here. Okay, so we have recommended blocking category, as well as applications that you can see over here. So very simple, easy to set up. And in terms of firewall policy, as you can see over here now, we have this first run policy and the last run policy, as well as the core policy. Okay. So this allow you to add in policy before your main core policy as well. So you will be able to know this thing will run first, will not be over so-called covered by other rules that you specify that may be less restrictive and being covered by other rules. So you can specify rules that you wanted to run first over here and rules that you want to run last over here. Okay. And there are also some hidden rules that you can see over here. So you can see here, so system policy. So over here, you can see some of the system policy that we have put in, but we can't see. Okay, like for example here, why rule base that are normally not shown on the policy, but then you can still see logs. So these are the one that is providing it. Unhandled packets are specified over here, and it blocks rules, things that are not specified in your core policy. So these are actually the unhandled internal packets or external packets that you see on the logs, like unhandled packets being dropped. So these are things that you have put in on top. Normally we hide it so that these are all system policy. So you can actually see that as well and configure it whether you want to allow or deny. Okay. So you can add aliases, static NAT, branch office VPN. You can go into also networks. This will show you all your interface, the external, internal network, SD-WAN configuration, your interface. Here, this one is actually configured one external, the rest is considered as a switch. Okay, so these are all bridged together as a switch. So I can actually go into here and you can see that all these are configured as a bridge. If I do not want, I can actually go here and I can actually set it not to use. So I only use these three, or I can actually enable it as a bridge. Okay. So same thing as you can configure your DHCP setup, link monitoring. Okay. Advanced settings for setting out the secondary IP as for example. So this can be set out as well as the Wi-Fi. Okay. So very simple set out. You can also set out authentication, Firebox user authentications over here. Routes. Okay, so some of them are just added into it recently for testing. To see this, this is now available for internal testing, and eventually when it's available for external, you'll be able to actually test it out. So if you wanted to look into whether what are the features that you can test, you can go into the administration beta features over here. So the cloud management allow you to test the features. Okay. So if I wanted to do monitoring, okay, I can actually send my logs into the WatchGuard Cloud as well. So this is already available. Not a beta testing, already available. You can actually configure logs to be sent over here. You can have dashboard that you can see using executive dashboard. Last 7 days. So they give you information about countries access, clients, domains that access top URL category, for example, top application category. For the executive, we do also have these executive reports, okay, that we have generate so that you can actually generate it and show it to the executive, for example, to see what is happening in the network. We also have security dashboard to tell you what are the security threats. For example, as you can see, we come out as hits as well as bytes. So if let's say you see a certain IP address, you see that, for example, many of them are being blocked, and you know that this IP address are not required, not used, for example, and you wanted to actually block it. What you can do is that you can add this into the block. Let's say under the going to configuration, you can actually block it into the network blocking. You can add it into the block site, for example. You can add the IP address into here. The main thing is that when you add into the block site, these are sites that check first before I go through my security policy. So it will speed out your performance as well, because anything that added here, it will be checked over here before they go through the firewall policy. So for example, if I see just now that under my dashboard I have this IP, I know that is not in my network, something trying to come in, I can actually add this into the block, so-called the block site, for example, to improve the performance. Okay. Just now I mentioned about policy map, so you can see over here, outgoing rules have the most number of configuration. You can see over here. Okay, Firewatch, threat map. Threat map will tell you where the threats are coming from, and the color coding will tell you the severity of the threats, for example. So these are already available in the dimension, and we move it into the cloud, for example. So give you an idea how the reporting can be done. Next, I will go into the endpoint. This is a new endpoint solution from Panda. Briefly, I'm going through. So this is the security dashboard. We show you the status of the informations. So to tell you how many computers are managed by you and how many are properly protected, how many have installation error, for example, other things related. Okay, computers that are offline, outdated protections, that means protections that are not out to date. Okay, and program allowed by administrator, because by default, some of the programs we block it before we know it, but there are also some programs that is out of this 12 program that is allowed by the administrator. You can see that 6 are detected as malware, 3 are PUP are probably so-called potentially unused program, for example. So some unused program, you may not know whether there are threats or anything, but the system do not use that, so you can actually remove them. Okay, and these are 2 using exploit, 1 is being classified, so you can actually look into it as well, and you go in, they'll tell you these are the malware programs that is detected, for example. Okay, and you can actually nail down one by one to see. Okay. So also these are the classification of all the program runs and scan. You can see trusted program, malware, exploit, PUP, for example. And we also can look into different activities. Okay. So these are programs that we block first, and then we are trying to classify them. Okay. So these are malware detected and PUP activities, for example, exploit activities, to give you an idea. Okay. So we also have services like web access, URL filtering, so you can actually monitor the activities, add on for patch management. So if you're running our EDR, you can also add on things like patch management to control patching on Windows computers. Windows also have BitLockers to do the encryptions of the Windows endpoint, but most of the times the users doesn't keep the encryption key, for example. So we do central management for BitLocker. At the same time, we keep tracks of all the keys that are used for the encryption so that you can recover in case of problem. Okay, so these are actually shown here. And going to the computers, you over here you have the filters that you can filter the specific computers. These are computers that you have created to do your own checks, and these are the normal classification based on the types of computers, for example. Okay, like I wanted to see this Windows desktop over here. It give you very rich information about what is the problems with this computer, outdated protections, for example. Okay, and they give you details about the computers. What are the security that you have enabled or disabled? These are more on the product side. And then what hardware are they running on this computer, like CPU, memory, disk, for example. They give you information about what these hardware belong and what software are they having running on in the programs, what settings are being used. So we have different settings on per computer, network settings, for example. Okay, so these are under the settings. Workstations and servers, you can have different settings that you can set. Things like all these informations that you can configure, advanced protections. These are more on the EDR part, antivirus protections that you can set. Okay, firewall on Windows to protect against any threats, for example, device control. Okay, web access, antivirus for Exchange, for example. So these are some of the things that you can configure. Okay, on the settings, and then we can also do program blocking. So, for example, you can specify what applications to block or enable, allow based on the name of the files or by MD5, for example. Okay. Authorized software or software that you configure to allow running so that this will not be blocked. So this will be whitelisting by you. Okay. So you can specify users over here. Who are the users that can access the system? What is their role? What is their security activities, for example? Under per computer setting also, you can configure preference whether to show in the system tray, how often they do the updates. Okay, prevent tampering with the applications. Network settings is you can also set things like the language used, proxy. This is if you have computers that you do not allow connections, that you do not allow connections, for example, and then you can configure a proxy so that all these computers that do not have internet connection can proxy through this proxy server to go out to the internet, for example, to connect to the management. This is if you configure the computer as a cache machine. So this will be the computers that track with the management and download any updates or informations, security patches, for example, and store into this cache. And then all your computers will actually access to this cache rather than all of them connected to the central management in the cloud and still use out your bandwidth, for example. So over here, network services, you can specify which computer is a proxy, which one is a cache, and the other one is a discovery. Discovery is normally you can configure machines. You manually download the installations, install on this machine, and make it as a discovery machine. And this discovery machine will discover your network. What are the machines that you see in the network? And you can configure them to actually do installation, for example, to install the software. Okay. So for example, I add computer. They have different kind of operating system. I can do discovery and remote installation, for example, and I can select which discovery computer to do the discovery, or I can do a menu. Okay. So this is a brief idea of how our endpoint solutions look like. So I try to see. Okay, I try to answer any questions that I can see here. So Brian asked me, is this a total security suite or basic security suite? Just now I show the T40 is actually a total security suite. It's actually an NFR unit with total security suite. Okay, with all the features. I saw an email questions asking whether T40W compatible with Fortinet SD-WAN. I don't know which part are you referring to about these questions. Can you elaborate more? Okay, there was a questions asking by Brian. Since this is an endpoint security that I just showing, is this performance on user workstation? How is the performance, and will it also have issue if we implement this in conjunction with our current endpoint security? Okay, for our endpoint security adaptive 360, we have two. We also have our own endpoint security. If you wanted to uninstall the existing one, we do have the capability as well. Like I can show you over here. Like under the workstation setting, the advanced protections. Okay, under the general, I can uninstall other security product as well if you have other solutions that is already running, and it's a hassle, especially now you have many users outside. If you are able to install it, how you can actually configure it to automatically uninstall other third-party solutions. These are some of the solutions that we block. So you can see over here. So these are some of the solutions that if you have, we can block it. But if you wanted to continue using this third-party AV, we can work together. If you are using an EDR, we do have EDR that is without the antivirus, but with the EDR components to detect again new malware, for example. We can coexist with this AV that is running together. Okay, so we can run together with that, or if you want to use our everything from us, we also allow you to automatically uninstall the other components. Regarding a performance side, for WatchGuard, all our solutions just now I show you, we are having a single agent. Okay, so single agent, that means single process. So you do not see multiple different processes running with some vendors. If let's say their endpoint solution, they acquire different other companies, different products, they may have multiple processes running, which may take out more resources from the system. So for us, it's a single agent. Also a single products that you install. It will depending on what license you have. Then it will download the necessary components and run it on the endpoint. So it's a single agent, single process. It doesn't take out much resources as compared to the other competitor products. And as I mentioned, many of these are actually and so-called the EDR analysis actually done in the cloud. So yeah, I offloading the analysis AI correlation thing in the cloud, for example, and it updates onto the central management, for example. So it doesn't do the checking and scanning on the endpoint. The endpoint is basically just detection and feedback to the central management, and the central management will do all the analysis, the deep comparison, and give you the information you require. Okay, so it doesn't take out a lot of resources on the endpoint. Okay. Another question from Brian. TSN and BSS question, we can, okay. We show a page where there are different applications on the list. Can you provide the link to this? I will lead the local assist option for these endpoints. Oh, okay. That one is actually the AV engines that we can uninstall automatically. So this is the link. So this is the link to the other third-party AV that we can uninstall. These in one condition if they didn't configure anti-tampering. So if they configure anti-tampering, then we cannot remove that. But if they didn't configure for anti-tampering, then we are able to uninstall them remotely. Okay, so these are some of the third party that we can block. Okay. So Panda is actually the fourth in the world for EDR security solution. Okay. So in terms of AV, we probably didn't hear much about them because they are not so-called present so much in the APAC. They are very active in the Europe as well as in the US region. In APAC, they're probably more active in the Malaysia side, the Indonesia, Philippines, probably in Singapore, too many other different vendors already also over here, crowded. But in terms of worldwide position, we are number 4 in EDR. Okay, we focus more on EDR than endpoint protections, endpoint antivirus to provide more value added to our customers. Okay. Any other questions? So with the acquisitions of our Panda Security actually come just in time for the pandemic as well, where people now are moving outside the office. We look into this endpoint security because when we have this threat detection and response at the time, we didn't have an AV, and so we do more on the ransomware protections, doing more on the more of the EDR part without the AV. So, but then when we go into the market, we see that a lot of people are also requesting for the AV components. So we look around for the markets and we see Panda Security suit the kind of so-called company branding and so-called positioning and marketing messaging. We have the same kind of messaging. It allow us to easily do what we already been doing. So we find that this is a good candidate, and we acquire this company to increase in our security portfolio. to moving from the network also into the endpoint to provide end-to-end security. Okay, so for our customers, it will also be good when we have more security solutions in place. If they have any problems, they can get a single tech support to so-called troubleshoot all their system under one organization. Then you have different solutions when you go around and asking for support. Different support vendors may be pointing fingers about different solutions, and it's very hard to actually troubleshoot and isolate the problem. Okay. So any other questions? From Michael Wong, is Adaptive Defense 360 different from or an upgrades to a separate from WatchGuard TDR? Okay, there are some changes that we have done. I'm not sure whether I still have the link. Recently, I read something. Okay, maybe the link gone. Okay. There were some questions about. Wait, I tried to search. Give me a second. Okay. So people are asking about what's next for TDR. So this is our public information. So with acquisition of Panda, we receive a lot of questions about the TDR, whether we be part of the total security suite, for example. So TDR will still remain a part of the total security suite. So during the transition, so this is the host sensor will collect telemetry managed endpoint, will merge with the Panda endpoint security by the end of 2021. So host ransomware prevention will detect and kill the ransomware. It will be removed from the TSS and entered into the endpoint. Okay, in the post 2021 kind of integrations. Okay, so basically TDR will be more go into some kind of correlation part, focusing on correlation. Whereas the some of the TDR, so-called the host prevention, all this will be merged into the endpoint, become part of the endpoint security solution. Okay. Okay, so this is what our plan, because some of the security solutions that is offered by the Panda is overlapping with our TDR, so we need to choose one of the security solution, for example. Like the endpoint from Panda also come with their URL filtering. The DNS Watch Go also come with some kind of URL filtering as well. So we are merging some of these security solutions together. So we are doing some kind of integration. So how do customer plan for the transit? that one, we do not have the answer yet. So we will come when we coming near to that portion. We will definitely have some kind of plan for our existing customers who are using a TDR. How you can actually move also into our endpoint. For example, we will have some kind of program later, but at the moment, I don't have those informations yet. Okay. So when it's nearer to that, we will have that kind of informations coming out. How are we going to address uh, different customers? Maybe we'll give customers who are previously on TDR. Don't take my words. Just an example that we may come. So to in order to still have what the security they require, we may give endpoint security for free for our existing customers, or maybe to get the endpoint at a certain value, for example, at a very discounted value, for example, to get the new solutions when we merge the thing together. Or there will be a grace period that we still supporting the whole set, so-called the ransomware preventions, host ransomware prevention still on TDR until we do the full migration over, for example. So that is I'm not sure how the transition and migration yet, because we are our headquarters site is still trying to work on that to minimize any disturbance to our existing customers. Yeah, no problem. We can work on that. No problem. Yeah. As you know that we have always been giving out free things, like for example TSS. When we offer TSS, and then when we also have intelligent AV built in, we have the DNS watch. We didn't charge customer extra. For existing customers who are already on TSS, automatically they get the DNS watch, they get the intelligent AV. So we didn't say, oh, you want to have this new feature, you need to pay more. No. So existing customer already running on TSS, they automatically get the new capability of the DNS watch. That was last year. Yeah. And intelligent AV as well. So it is free to them. So only when they start to do, then slowly when we have more features coming out, and then the renewal come, and you pay for the new features as well. Yeah. Uh, which one are you referring to for Michael? Roadmap. Oh, 360. The AFD 360 is already available to all our customers. Starting starting next year, we will have all the so-called the solutions that you can have. Yeah, next month. DNS Watch. DNS Watch Go is already available. So if it's already available to our customers, so you can actually have purchase it now. We also have the bundle if you want to have MFA DNS Watch Go together with the AD360. We have a bundle called the Passport. We give you better value compared to buying individual products. So just now on my presentation, I think, yeah, we already have this bundle. So you can check with Frontier Force about the price, the bundle price, as compared to individual product if you buy purchase individually.
So for Singapore, we can sell our AD360 already. Unlike countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, whereby we have certain so-called master distributor agreement in those countries which lapse end of this month. Singapore have no problem because we do not have that kind of master distributor in Singapore. So our existing distributor and partners can already selling these solutions in Singapore. If you want to evaluate this product also, we do have a evaluation key available for you to evaluate the products before purchasing. Yeah, so you can contact Frontier Force for that if you are interested to do any of the evaluation. I'm not sure whether the FlexPay auction is it welcome in Singapore. We are working also in terms of this thing called the FlexPay. We are working now with our distributor to actually offer this kind of solutions, whereby most of the solutions offered nowadays are actually CowPax, whereby you buy the products, product cost, product price, for example. And we are now working on FlexPay auctions whereby customers don't pay upfront for the products. They do something like a monthly payment where they pay monthly for the products. There is no terms, so-called contracts on the products. So they just pay monthly on the products that they use. So we are working on that to offer that kind of solutions. So it's more like you don't own the products, you just use the product and you pay a monthly terms for the products. So we will be offering it to our appliance subscriptions as well as our endpoint. Yeah, so this is something that we are looking at and offering to our customers. Okay, any other questions? No. DNS Watch is part of the DNS Watch is part of the Total Security Suite, but DNS Watch Go is as you can see under the Total Security over here. DNS Watch is part of the Total Security Suite, but there are some customers who are they maybe have limited budgets. They may not have the budgets to buy the whole Total Security Suite. So what they can do is, let's say I already on Basic Security Suite, but I wanted to protect my user from DNS Watch, from phishing attacks. So for example, I can get the Basic Security Suite, and I add on things like APT blocker, because Basic Security Suite, as you can see here, normally are UTM capability, which are protections against the so-called the known malware, known threats, for example. So these are mostly the known protections. But I wanted to also protect against unknown, which I may want the APT blocker. So I can add on APT blocker here under the Basic Security. And because DNS Watch is available as a so-called Total Security Suite, I can get the DNS Watch Go. DNS Watch Go is on the go. We are offering it as so-called to our existing customers or any other customers who do not have a WatchGuard firewall. So you can configure DNS Watch Go as well, but you don't buy the DNS Watch because this is part of Total Security. You buy a DNS Watch Go, and you can actually add on to the security of the of your existing firewall. Okay. So you provide anti-phishing as well, and you do not need to install any agent. So if you go to the configuration, okay. If I go into because this is not in the WatchGuard cloud yet, so it's a different interface, but we are going to move it together. So if I go to manage DNS Watch over here, I can configure so-called DNS Watch Go policy over here. I can specify the protected network. Okay, I didn't have the license. I can't show you here, but because under the protected network, okay, so under the protected network, if you specify over here, it's the same thing. Actually, it's the same thing. You can specify the public IP address of the when you click on protected network, if you have a DNS Watch Go client under protected network, you can specify what is the public address of your gateway, and then what is the network that you are protecting. Okay, so this will allow you to configure if you don't have WatchGuard firewall, or you want to just provide protections on the network. So this is under the DNS Watch Go. Okay, so there are two products. One is called the DNS Watch. The other one is called the DNS Watch Go. Okay. DNS Watch Go is for user on the move, but we also sell it to customers who are not using a WatchGuard firewall. But I look at the loophole is that I can also use it on the Firebox that users, assuming users don't have enough budget to buy the Total Security, I want to add on a DNS Watch Go to protect the user as well. Okay, so we'll check on the traffic stack is protect the IP address network that you are protecting, and then also the public address from there. Okay. So sorry for the confusing. So the TSS portion is called a DNS Watch. The endpoint one is called a DNS Watch Go on the go. But then we also can be use it on a third-party firewall or even WatchGuard firewall. But I don't have budget to buy a Total Security suite. But I wanted to have a DNS protection. I can get a DNS Watch Go as add-on to your BSS as well. My T40W got some problem. I need to restart. Okay, any other questions? If not, I pass it back to Frontier Force to close the event.
Okay, hi all. So thank you, Daniel, for introducing everything. So for now, I'll be talking about the promotions. So we actually have a one-time PO from December 18 to March 31st. So if you spend $3,000 with us, you're eligible for $100 shopping vouchers. If you spend 5,000, you get 200, and if you spend 10,000, you get 500. So if you are interested in setting up an appointment or consultation with us, we will also be giving away free wireless stereo headphones. So it's totally no pressure. If you're just interested and want to like ask more questions, then you'll get it for free. So we'll wrap up the webinar by doing a lucky draw. So I have everyone's names here. So there will be 3 lucky winners who will win $50 Grab food vouchers. So I'll start spinning first. Great. Is Tan Kok Kong here? If you're here, do you mind unmuting your mic so I know you're around? Is Tan Kok Kong here? I'll just give it another 5 seconds. If not, we'll spin again. Tan Kok Kong. Okay, I guess we'll spin again. Okay, is CK up here? CK Yap, are you around?
Yes, it's here.
Great, great, awesome. Okay. So now for the next winner.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, is John around?
Hello.
Hi, hi. Congrats.
Hi.
And now for our final winner, I'll spin again.
Yes.
And Simon. Is Simon here?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Okay, congrats everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar. So for the winners, we'll be emailing the vouchers over to you. And for everyone else, we'll be sending over the recording of the webinar. So thank you again for joining and being so patient. And special thanks to WatchGuards for this webinar. So thank you everyone.